Welcome to this episode of Inside Tulsa Athletics. Our show today will feature the two winning basketball coaches from the Tournament of Champions. We'll also have Mick, the Executive Director of the district, to talk about this year's tournament. We have representatives from the Bike Club, and we'll also hear from Marlon Houston and Steve Friebus. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back with Melanie Stewart, the head coach of the Lincoln Christian Girls, or the TOC champions for this year. Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and our first guest today is Melanie Stewart, the head girls coach, Lincoln Christian, and the championship team from the 57th Tournament of Champions. Melanie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I tell you what, it was a great tournament.
It was from the hospitality, the venue, all the way through the competition. Even the officiating was good.
You know, that's one of the things that we did probably 7 or 8 years ago. The Activity Association always told me we can't find enough female officials.
Yeah.
And I said, that's not right. We made a commitment that we would have males for the boys' games and females for the girls' games, because we want those girls to look at that there is life after playing.
Yeah,
Possibly,
that's a great point.
You might want to be an official someday, and so we stayed with that throughout the tournament, and they do a good job. I think they really an excellent job. As you get through the Tournament of Champions, you win it, and so on. What does that mean to the continued growth of your program?
Oh, wow. Just to be able to go there and experience that venue and that stage in and of itself that it creates. Because of, the job that they do. TPS does a good job of making you really feel like this is a big time tournament. Mm-hmm. And so that was cool for our kids, but that experience alone just prepares you mentally, and then of course playing that competition physically, you get prepared for what's to come, especially as you go into the playoffs.
Well, it's like a mini state tournament.
Yes.
Really. I mean, and the atmosphere might be a little bit better than that because of the venue, and if you go 3 nights, and you're going to go 3 nights, you've got to battle all 3 nights.
You sure do.
I know that David Jackson, one time we invited him when we were out at the Mabee Center to come over, him and Mike Whaley, and after 2 days he said, "Golly, this is a big deal." I said, "Yes, sir, it is a big deal." But it's important, I think, for those kids to be able to have that opportunity to play.
Absolutely.
So as you put that away and you get into your regular season, what are some of the things that you think that your kids gain from that as they move forward to the playoffs?
Just the sense of urgency that you have to play with when you play that type of competition. Mm-hmm. You can't have possessions off, and sometimes your regular season schedule might not offer that caliber of competition night in and night out. And so just having to be on go mentally, physically, even emotionally, going through the highs and lows of winning, or even that the game presents itself,
quarter by quarter.
Yes, because, when you're playing that kind of competition, the runs that you can put together, as a team is pretty exhausting if you have to ride that very much. But we just really try to talk to our kids about staying focused and staying, kind of stable through those moments. And I think that is going to be a huge contributor to helping us as we go into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so too. I think those are the things that you try to build on. What does that experience mean for Lincoln Christian to be involved with a tournament like that?
Yeah, this is our second year, and I would say this was, to me, the feel of this tournament. I've, having played, Division I college basketball and gone to NCAA tournaments for, years, what it feels like to be in a big time situation. it is very similar to that. Just they do such a good job of replicating the seriousness behind this tournament that I think that allows those kids to say, this is really big what we're doing, And so that's exciting for them to be able to, feel like what they're doing as a high school player is important. And the recognition that, TPS does, just this show, the pre-show, just all of the things that they do to try to pub this up and make it what it is, I think is really cool for the kids. The experience in and of itself, year one, oh, wow, that's cool. Year two, okay. We know what we want to do now, and so they go back with a little bit more of a mission, and they certainly played really well three games in a row and gave ourselves an opportunity to win that.
Well, you're 11-1 and you're ranked number 2. How does that fit for the rest of the season?
It's exciting. I mean, we bumped up from Class 3A to Class 4A, and so we knew that was going to present a challenge in and of itself, and so we really pumped up our scrimmage season, knowing the competition that we were going to have in the TOC, and then knowing just going into 4A what that competition would look like. Our tournament we just played this last week, so we played Tournament of Champions. Then the following week we played our own tournament, and we ended up playing Sapulpa in the championship of that, and they actually ended up getting us. Man, they played really, really good, and so I think that just shows you the caliber of competition that was in the TOC. We beat them in the semis, and then they turn around and beat us in the championship of our tournament. But going forward, it just allows us to take the confidence from those possessions and the learnings from the possessions done not well, and gives us a roadmap to make it better.
Sometimes you learn more from when you're unsuccessful than when you're successful.
Very true.
Well, thank you for being here today, and good luck for the rest of the year.
Thank you. Thanks.
And when we come back, we'll have Jeff Edmonson, who is the Dale's boys basketball coach, the boys champion.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hales means that you have to be consistent, outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined, and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and our second guest today, Jeff Edmonson, the Dale boys basketball coach, the Tournament of Champions for this year. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I tell you what, the Tournament of Champions is always a great experience. How did you feel about your experience being the head coach at Dale?
It was such an honor just to be invited to the tournament. It's just such a great format. Our kids to get to play the big schools. It was the first game playing against Tulsa Union, who I think is the second largest school in the state. Our kids played really good, and we really wanted to get on the winner's side. We wanted to play more big schools, so to be able to play Crossings in the semifinals. Our kids played with and against a lot of the kids from Crossings throughout the years, so we know exactly how good they are and how well coached they are, so nobody was sneaking up on anybody. And to win that game and get to the finals, we knew we had to play well. Our entire town shut down, and everybody came to Tulsa and came
That's
to the
what
game.
I heard, yeah.
So we felt a little bit of pressure. We were like, man, we have to show up. We have to play well. We wanted to win it for our town, and we wanted to win it for all the small schools. So it was just a special week for our kids.
I think that's something that's really, really special, especially when our smaller schools. A couple of years ago, we had a real small school, maybe a B girls team, come in second, I believe. Mm-hmm. And the coach told us that they took the trophy down and put it in the mayor's office of their little community where they came from. You know, it is an important thing, and it means so much to communities like Dale, that size of them.
It does. We had no idea that it had been so long since a school this small had been in the finals or won it. We had to look at the program and see that it's been 43 years since a small school has won the Tournament of Champions. I think it might take us, 5, 10, 15 years down the road before we realize what we did. I think our kids will be neat when they come back someday and they get to open the program up and get to read about themselves and see that we made history in the tournament champions.
I think that's one of the things that we always have tried to strive with this tournament. We have we only have 4 years with kids through those high school 4 years to make a lifetime of memories. Right. And hopefully the Tournament of Champions is a lifetime memory for them.
Oh, no doubt it will be. These kids have grown up around basketball. We've got several coaches' kids and grandkids that play on our team, so they've been real familiar with the Tournament Champions. We talked about it when they were smaller, and they always dreamed about playing the Tournament Champions, so it's kind of a dream come true.
That's great. Well, with 19 wins on the season and no losses right now, how do you get ready to prepare for this playoff run?
Right. Well, these kids have been wanting to improve it, and that's, I think, our biggest motivation of the Tournament Champions is we wanted to prove to all the people that didn't think we could do it just how good we were. There's a lot of people out there that think we're a little bit too small and they don't realize how athletic we are, so we wanted to prove to everybody. Last year was the first year that Dale boys had won a state championship. We started 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores, which to me, I think that's a huge feat. I don't know of any teams that started 3 freshmen and won a state championship.
Right.
And so we want to prove it again this year. So they've been really motivated to go back and prove it. So I think we're on the right track.
Back to back, you might be back to back to back.
Well, it would be the first group to ever go back to back at Dale. They wrote history being the first team to win a boys state championship. So now we can be the first team to go back to back.
As you get into that preparation, what does this mean, this tournament, to the overall program and to your school?
Like we said, it's just an honor to be invited. We dreamed about being invited to this. It's such a great format to find 4 of the best small schools and play 4 of the best large schools. And just for us to have that challenge of playing these elite schools, it's been great for our program and great for our community. Everybody was so excited about it.
That's obvious. I think you did have the whole town was there. I think in the center section.
Yeah, it was nice.
At the BOK. As you get ready for tournament play, who do you have to beat down the road to be able to win another state championship?
Well, there's several good 2A schools. It's pretty balanced. Preston's got a good squad. Hennessy has a really good team. Pecola and Oklahoma Christian Academy there in Oklahoma City is also really good. So it will be a challenge. All the coaches have told me that it's tough to win back-to-back. It's just you've got to stay healthy. You've got to get lucky somewhere down the road. So it's going to be a big challenge. And like I said, our kids, they want to prove it. We want to go back-to-back and win it again.
One thing I've always found in coaching, it seems like when you win a championship, the one player that makes a difference is the one that plays a little bit better than they really are during the tournament. They give you a little bit more than you think that you have. Your good ones are probably going to rise to the occasion. Usually the good ones will play good. But it's that kid, that average kid that all of a sudden scores 20 in the game.
That's what makes me the luckiest coach in the state is I got 5 or 6 of those kids that do that every night. They play bigger than what they are. They always show up and surprise people. People don't, because we're small and they don't think we're very athletic. They don't think we play very good defense, but we do. We play really good defense, and these kids play together so well. We've done it. I've got a son in the mix, so I've been coaching these kids since they're in the 2nd or 3rd grade. So we've been doing this for about 8 or 9 years. So people in Tulsa might have been surprised by us, but myself and the people around Dale, we've been getting to watch this for 8 or 9 years. So we really weren't surprised.
Well, that's great continuity, too.
Definitely.
Since the 2nd grade.
Yeah. It's been,
well, Coach, congratulations on your championship, and good luck for the rest of the year.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
When we come back, we'll be back with the Bike Club folks, Mike Wozniak and Lance Miller.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field and that it's the littlest things that will make all the difference in the long run.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with, not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Now we have two special guests, Mike Wozniak and Lance Miller of our bike club. And boy, the bike club has grown over the years. It's amazing. From where it started. Give us a history of when it started and then get into why and how it fits the Tulsa Public Schools.
It got started about 9 years ago. I was on the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee, serving alongside former school board member Gary Percival, and it was an effort to get more kids active and outside, and kind of supplement that in-school programming with some out-of-school time, skill and safety building on bicycles. So,
well, that's neat. And as it continued to grow, how did that growth manifest itself?
Well, that initially was one school at Emerson Elementary, and then it through the old Community and Schools initiative, the word got out through the district. It grew to 6 schools the next year, and then kind of caught wildfire, really. So now it's up to 28 Tulsa Public Schools.
That is really good.
So.
And they're all elementary?
No, there's about
23 elementary schools, and there's 5 active middle school programs.
Middle school.
That's right.
Okay, yeah. And as you get into that, talk about the equipment and the funding and how that works.
Yeah, we are so generously funded by a lot of the foundations you've heard around town. We supply each school site with about 22 youth bikes and then 5 adult bikes, so any adult volunteer can just, they don't have to drag a bike around all day. They can just show up and start volunteering. And then we generally work on skill building that fall semester, and in the spring semester we start using those bikes as active transportation and getting out around those school communities, taking field trips to fire stations, parks, local businesses, and that kind of stuff.
And then you have a big event, don't you? Where you have
We do. We have a kind of a capstone event at the end of the year for our elementary schools, where we gather them all at the Guthrie Green in downtown, and then we have a rolling enclosure with police support. We ride 3.5 miles to the gathering place and have a field day there, get ice cream, eat some lunch, and get to experience all the great things there. So.
And these, a lot of times, are kids who will never have or would not have had the opportunity to ride a bike.
In many cases, yes. We teach a lot of kids how to ride a bike, or maybe they've had very limited time on a bike. And a big part of our program, kind of since the beginning, has been giving away a bike at the end of the year to the students that need it. So those are kind of come from a different collection of bicycles, but we've given thousands of bikes away at the end of the semester.
I was going to say, how
to
many?
students.
That's incredible.
Over 10,000 bikes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Given away.
Between all our programs, there's over 15,000 bikes have been given away.
Gee,
So.
that's fantastic. Along with that is the component for safety, I guess.
Yeah, and we think safe cyclists make safe drivers. So hopefully we're creating awareness amongst our students for the future. They're also using these bikes as active transportation. We know that kids are in their screens so much, and this gives them an opportunity to get out and be active. So
Absolutely. That type of physical activity is really good for most of them, because you're right. We either have an iPhone or an iPad, and we're not doing anything physical. As you look at the bike club, how has it been accepted at each of the schools with the communities? And so
Yeah, well, I can take that. But most schools are, they're eager for this program to come to the schools. Since the beginning, there's really been more demand from the schools and the communities around them than even we've been able to provide, even though we've grown so much since the first programs. At this point, honestly, our biggest limiter is volunteers. It's a really important, vitally important part of our program is having adult volunteers, whether those are teachers from the school site or outside volunteers that can bring a different experience to those programs.
What do you have to do to be a volunteer?
Well, the first step is just going to bikeclubtulsa.com/volunteer and fill out a very short application. And that gets the wheels in motion. There's a background check involved that's online and free. Just kind of like being involved with any Tulsa Public School program as a community volunteer. But that can go as fast as just a couple days, and then we can link you up to a club to ride with. Probably the biggest hurdle for most folks is that it's right after the school day, so it's still kind of in the middle of the workday. But so we have a lot of folks with who are retired or have flexible or remote schedules, or employers that are encouraging that sort of community involvement to do that 1 day a week of volunteering.
We'll expand on that a little bit when we come back after these messages.
Hey, Tulsa, we have a crushing recycle play of the day for you. Team Johnson versus paper and cardboard.
They're starting off slow today, probably trying to figure out what to do with those styrofoam plates, since they're not recyclable.
There's the big play we were waiting for. Boom! Completely empty cardboard boxes dunked in the cart. Score big by recycling your cardboard and paper. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, your team will always be there for you.
Welcome back, and we're talking about volunteers. It's a difficult thing, obviously, to get people to give up their time and so on. But what a great investment in kids! I mean, my goodness, I spent 51 years with that, taking care of those kids. So I enjoyed it. But what kind of commitment do you have? Is it 1 day a week, 2 days a week? What's the commitment?
Yeah, there's generally 10 sessions in the fall semester, and then 10 sessions in the spring semester. Okay. All you can count on using about an hour to an hour and a half of your time those days. The rides, once we get set up and stuff, take about 45 minutes.
I see. And that's once a week?
Once a week, yes. Yeah. Yep.
So for 10 weeks?
For 10 weeks.
Yeah, that's
yeah, and we take a break here during the winter time. Because it's cold generally. So,
right, yeah. Right. And ice and snow. And
it's not great for bike riding, is it?
It would be a little, unless you can put chains on your bike.
Yeah, been pretty nice lately, though.
Yeah,
surprisingly nice.
Yeah. Well, it's 65 today. It'll be 65 tomorrow, and Thursday 48. So there you go. But that's kind of how it goes. So you got started. Why did you get started? Why did this happen?
Well, I owned a business that had a cycling team. And like I said, I met Gary Percival with the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory. And it's part of, I think, our give back. Tulsa had been good to us. So we thought, how can we share something that we're passionate, something that we love with the students? And, it started out kind of as like, oh, I'm just going to teach these kids skill building and safety. But it grew into what we really think is so important, and that's these great developmental personal relationships, that mentoring. Kids were getting great, strong mentors via the volunteers. So.
And give a kid a reason to come back to school every day.
Yeah, we know out of school time programs really support that in-school work. So the more of us that we can get out there and kind of support those programs, then that keeps our kids in school. So.
Are we still involved with the the maintenance program at one of our schools?
We are. So
Yeah, we're really excited for that program. They're actually over there right now, probably wrenching away on bikes at the Tulsa Met Junior and High School. Have a Project Bike Tech program that where students really learn the full gamut of bicycle maintenance, and they could take those skills and go straight into working in the cycling industry, or kind of just take those fundamental skills that are really transferable to other industries. Just learn how to work with tools, working with processes. And
I thought that was
it's
really a
cool
good program when that was developed. To give those kids another opportunity to be successful at something.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really I think the key to any program is the reward return. It costs this much money, and what's the return on it? Well, you get a kid that learns how to do something, and that's everything.
Absolutely.
Where do you see Bike Club going, say, the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I think will get larger. We're focused on growing sustainably within Tulsa Public Schools. We'd love for every kid everywhere to get these opportunities, but
Sure.
Until we can really reach everyone possible in Tulsa Public Schools, that's going to be our main focus. So every year adding at least 1 or 2 other after school clubs and serving more students in our in-school PE program. So just trying to extend that reach and give more kids the opportunity.
Let's talk about that, the in-school PE program. How does that work?
So it's a 3rd grade PE program. So it's a short unit, 4 lessons that are delivered, during that physical education time. And it's kind of a miniature version of the after school program. We kind of go through everything from teaching the students how to fit their own helmet and the importance of that, to how the bikes work, and then move on to on-bike skills, using hand signals to indicate their turns, and doing really good starts and stops, and give them some of those foundational skills that, and also maybe pique their interest in joining the after-school club. And we also teach a lot of students how to ride for the first time in that program.
Gil, I'd like to add that between the after-school program, the in-school bike club PE program, the Project Bike Tech mechanics program, Tulsa Public Schools probably has the most robust, comprehensive youth cycling education curriculum and work.
Excellent.
Then I'd put it up against anyone in the country, and it's because we're working directly with the district. There's some one-off clubs in other cities and stuff, but this is really exciting because it's all, it's district-wide.
The district embraced it because it's good for kids.
Yeah.
And you guys and your work and the volunteers, it's hard to replace those kinds of things. It's tough.
Time is...
Well, congratulations on a great program.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. We'll have you back sometime.
Yeah, thank you, Gil.
Well, when we come back, we'll have Steve Friebus to talk about sports medicine.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I feel like athletics is so important at Tulsa Central because it's an outlet for some of our kids there. They get a better opportunity to basically give back to our community.
At McLean, the sports is what mainly drives a bunch of the students to come to school every single day and work hard because they want to be able to come from the classroom to the field or the court and show at what they're good at.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Now we have Steve Friebus, the coordinator of sports medicine for the Tulsa Public Schools. And boy, I tell you, sports medicine has been all over the media since what happened in the NFL. Steve, let's talk a little bit about what happened and how that affects what we do on a daily basis in the Tulsa Public Schools.
Yeah, so you have an emergency situation that arises, and fortunately, the medical personnel recognized it, and from my understanding, they were doing CPR within 23 seconds. And anytime you talk about something like that, keeping the brain supplied with oxygen is critical, and so seconds count.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were able to do that, administer CPR, got the AED on him, was able to shock him at least once on the field, and they bought time until advanced medical care can be administered, and so fortunately there was a good outcome on this in this case.
Incredibly, walks out of the hospital this last weekend and is at home. He's in the hospital at home, but
right,
because they're still doing tests and everything. And talk about the injury a little bit. I know it's a nebulous kind of thing, but you hear about kids getting hit in the chest with a baseball or a softball or a soccer ball or whatever. This was a negligible hit, it looked like.
Yeah.
So how commonplace are those things?
When they're talking about commotio cordis, it's that there's a blunt force trauma to the chest at a particular point in the sinus rhythm of the heart. It's a really rare thing because, everything has to happen at a precise fraction of a second. Whether that was the exact thing, we don't, there's a lot, still speculation. Nobody's going to come out and say, hey, this is exact diagnosis. And whether we find out, I don't know. But it could have been that. It could have been sudden cardiac arrest where he might have an electrical arrhythmia that blunt force trauma, caused a reflex that did that. But it still comes down to, something happened with the heart. They had the emergency action plan, they had the personnel, they had the equipment all together ready to handle it. And we do that in Tulsa Public Schools as well. We have the personnel as much as we can. One person can't be at 5 different locations, but usually we're close. We have emergency action plans so that a coach can help out. The automated external defibrillators are on site. And so we do everything we can so we can buy time until
I think a lot of people don't realize that we do have those emergency plans, and those plans have to be filed with IMSA and with the fire department so they know what gate to come to if we have a stadium situation, or what door to come to if we have a gymnasium situation. I think those things are critical. And a lot of people don't realize in the administration of a game, that's a major part of the administration of the game.
Exactly. If you look at a lot of our gyms, if it happens to be a spectator in the stands, you might want to come through the front door because that's on the mid-level. Mm-hmm. But if it's an incident that's on the floor, we may need them to come around the back. Right. So they're at floor level, so we don't have to spend the time in an elevator or something. We go right on to where we need it.
Talk about that a little bit. You mentioned earlier before we went on today about the necessity of learning CPR.
Yeah, CPR, it's just so important to learn. It's not hard, push fast, center of the chest. You don't have to be certified to know what to do. It's important to be certified, I think, so you really know other things around it. It is a requirement by the State Department of Education that upon graduation, any high school senior will have seen that CPR and have practiced automatic and the method to do that compression, and just hands only, because you never know when you're going to be in a traffic accident and you see somebody needing help, or at a restaurant somebody collapses. Again, buy time. Somebody jumps in there, recognizes there's an emergency, and can start the process.
I think that's what people don't realize. This is not just an athletic thing. Mm-mm. This is a life thing. To carry on with life. But last minute we got, let's talk about the preparedness of our coaches. What's required by the state and everything that before a guy can actually go out and coach.
Yeah, coaches must have had a course in the care and prevention of athletic injuries, which is kind of like a college course, about 25 hours. They have to have watched the video through the National Federation of High School on sudden cardiac arrest, concussions, and heat illness. And those are the main things that we're going to run into that are life-threatening. And so to be able to recognize the signs and symptoms of what's going on, and then be ready to act and practice that. That is very important.
I think that's one of the things that people don't realize, that it's more than X's and O's.
Mm-hmm.
You're monitoring the health and safety of that kid while they're out there with the help of the athletic trainers. But there are some situations, for instance, that you'll have 3 different practices going on at 3 different locations on campus.
And it might take a few minutes to get from
one place. And the coach has to be prepared to be able
Exactly.
to do that. Well, Steve, thanks for being here today.
You're welcome.
And good luck the rest of the year, and hope we don't have any injuries.
Exactly.
And when we come back, we'll have Marlon Houston, Assistant Athletic Director, to talk about wrestling.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against a tough competitor, plastic.
Don't trust those numbers on the bottom. You have to stick to what you know. Only bottles and jugs found in the kitchen, bath, or laundry. They're quick to pick up. And empty those bottles before sinking that shot.
Always empty your bottles before recycling. Score big by recycling your plastic bottles and jugs. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I love Will Rogers Athletics because it helped me physically, spiritually, and emotionally through all the journeys I've been through at that school. All of the support staff helped me a lot, and it's just an amazing school.
Athletics at Will Rogers changed my life because it became a second family. With the support of my coaches and teammates, it's helped me gain confidence, work as a team, and will help me in college and in life.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have Marlon Houston, Assistant Director of Athletics. And today, Marlon is going to tell us about the junior high wrestling program.
Yes, junior high wrestling program this year has really been exciting. This year we have 8 out of our 10 schools participating. Kind of grassroots, some of the school first year, and some of our first year schools look really healthy, almost like it's not their first year. And then, of course, some of our first year schools, numbers are just starting, but the interest is picking up, and the coaches tell me that at least once a week there's a new kid that asks about, how can I join? What can I do? So it's really taken off. Really excited.
Both boys and girls?
Boys and girls. Now our boys' numbers is more healthier than our girls' numbers, but our girls' numbers are picking up with the awareness that comes with that, and so I'm looking forward for this year to be a really good foundation to kick it off again next year.
How are the girls' numbers at the high school?
Girls' numbers at the high school, well, let's see. I think we have one high school that does not have any girls, but other than that, all the other wrestling teams has girls on their teams. And, like the first tournament, Okmulgee tournament that they went to, McLean girls won first place. They were champions there.
Oh, really?
Hale was placed third, and then during December, McLean won another tournament. So don't necessarily have the full lineup, but some of the girls that we have, they're pretty tough.
They get those pins. They don't need a full lineup.
Bonus points is
Absolutely.
what matters. That's the
exactly.
wonderful thing about wrestling. It's like track. It's individual sport with a team concept. So, you could take a team with 4 or 5 wrestlers and win a tournament. You could actually finish top 5 with 3 wrestlers at the state tournament. So that's a pretty neat thing about wrestling.
How's what's the future look like for the wrestling program as you get that number of junior high teams feeding the high school? Is it going to improve the high school numbers?
Oh, definitely. I know. Well, for example, Memorial Junior High has really good numbers. Good numbers they have about 18 boys and 10 girls. And, Memorial High School doesn't have a wrestling program as of yet. Carver's a brand new program, and he has 8 girls and 17 boys. Ooh. And so a lot of those kids, they would like to obviously probably move into Booker T and other schools as well. So that's definitely improving our numbers. East Central High School, their boys team is doing really, really good this year. And a lot of those kids started in junior high there too. So, it definitely will help with the high school, and it will also help with our high school coaches to get more vested in our junior high programs as well.
What are you going to add any high school programs next year? You think?
Looking at next year, I know the buzz right now would be obviously Booker T and Memorial, and the athletic director at Central, Nate Goodman, has been speaking with me about looking for a way to start wrestling there as well. Mm-hmm. They wanted to try to jump off this year, but just looking for the right coach and the right situation. So, yeah, that's hopefully next year we'll be able to announce that all of our high schools will have a wrestling program.
Be good to get the Booker T program back because it was a historic program for a long time.
Very historic,
And
yes.
some great Olympians out of that program.
Yep. And the floor is named after Kenny Monday.
Yeah, exactly. Right there on the floor. So.
And we practice, our Carver practices over there at that gym.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Do they?
So
that's good.
I'm being real nice to their AD over there and their administration. So hopefully we can make that happen.
John wants a program. Potoshnik will be fine.
Yes.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's going to be there. What do you look forward to as we look at the state tournament? Do we have some opportunity to have state champions?
On the girls' side, I'm this part of the season. I can't wait to see where our girls fit in the hunt there. We have a few kids over at Edison that are on track to maybe make a run. Rogers has a couple boys on their team, a lightweight and a heavyweight. And the thing about Rogers heavyweight, they have two of them that are really good, and they keep beating each other. So either one of those guys could show up and make some noise. But yes, real excited about the future for the state tournament.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for being here. Let's keep that wrestling program going. We got to get her going.
Yeah, wrestling. Yeah,
wrestling. Get that wrestling. Hey, and when we come back, we'll have Kendal Gann from the enrollment office at TPS.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. So now we have Kendal Gann from the ESC, who is the Director of Family Retention and Recruitment. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Well, I tell you, go through and tell our viewers basically what you do.
So basically, we're working on family engagement, right? So as the district, we want to make sure that we are engaging with our families that are currently here. And then we're also wanting to speak with families that may be moving into the area or are in the area but not currently going to Tulsa Public Schools, or starting to have children and looking to see where their students are going to go to school. So we are doing a lot of outward engagement throughout the community, and then also engaging with our families that we already have in the district.
So that's the recruitment part.
Yes.
Tell us about the retention part.
So the retention part is keeping those that are here. And that's really important. And when you think about it, you may think about it in terms of, customer service. How are we serving our current families, and what is making them feel like this is where they want to stay? And so doing a lot of things about making sure that families are informed of the options and opportunities that the students have. Having the largest district in the state, we have so many options and opportunities for students to plug in outside of their academics, right? They're all going to get their academics, but what we also know with students is all of those extra opportunities that they have are a lot of times what keeps our students plugged in. And so we want to make sure that those families are informed of what those are. Also just different learning styles at the different types of schools that we have throughout the district, whether it's, Montessori or virtual or whatever works best for their student. And so just making sure that the families understand all of those options and opportunities that they have.
I think retention is so critical. I spent time in private college university where retention is everything, because
Absolutely.
they walk through the door and pay a lot more money than a public institution. And so to be able to keep those, but I think I told Dr. Guest about 8 years ago, we need somebody in retention.
Right.
That's a because you already have those folks on your campuses.
Yes.
Yes. And so let's make sure we take care of them while they're there,
Right.
get their education, and like you say, provide those other things that some kids can really flourish in, because they may not be a good algebra student, but they may be able to run a 440.
That's right.
And that's the key, I think, to keep kids engaged with that. So as you go through that process, what types of recruitment techniques do you use?
So a couple of things. We have enrollment expos that we just started last year, and they're ever evolving. We've got some coming up this year, and what we are trying to do is give a place in which our families are able to engage with each of our 78 schools. As I mentioned earlier, all of the different opportunities and options, learning styles, learning environments that the different schools throughout our district offer. It gives them opportunities for those families to come and, talk one-on-one. All of our principals will be at all of those events, and they'll be able to talk to them. We will have teachers at those events so they can talk to them about, what does a day look like in this specific school site, and start to determine if that may be a good fit.
Are you still doing the
students.
shadowing?
We are. Multiple schools across the district will do shadowing, open houses, all of those, and all of those are listed on our events page.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you want to give those dates of those locations?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first expo will be January 21st. It's a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It'll be at the Tulsa Tech Peoria campus. And then the second one will be on February 4th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and it will be at the Tulsa Tech Limley campus. And so again, as I mentioned, all 78 schools will be there. Community partners will be there. Our enrollment team will be there. So if you're ready to enroll that day, they'll be able to sit down and assist you. We'll have all the computers and internet and everything set up and ready to go. We'll have an opportunity. Tulsa Health Department will be there with vaccinations. We will have pizza for everybody.
There you go.
There you go, right? Like everyone will come for the pizza.
When you feed, you always have a crowd. That's really good. In closing, what's one thing you would want the Tulsa patrons to know about the retention and recruitment?
So I think what I would want everybody to know is that things are looking very bright for Tulsa Public Schools. The last 2 years, our enrollment has increased, and 2% every year over year for the last 2 years. And I absolutely am confident that will continue. And I'm just looking forward to this season and engaging with families across the district.
That's great. Yeah. And that is 2% during a pandemic time and in an urban school district.
Absolutely.
That's very different.
Yes.
A lot of them are not.
Yes.
They're going that direction. Well, thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Good luck in your recruitment and your
right.
retention. And when we come back, we'll have Mick Wilson, the Executive Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hales means that you have to be consistent, outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Now we'll have Mick Wilson, the Executive Director of Athletics, Tulsa Public Schools. And Mick, we're going to recap, I think, maybe one of the most successful, at least in my time around here, Tournament of Champions. I think it was outstanding.
Gil, it just seems to get better and better. It's so much fun to work at it, and something that our staff, we enjoy. As you know, you've been a part of it, that we get excited. It's an exciting time for our district. I will say we probably had more district employees attend and want tickets than probably we ever have in the past. So it was a great time, and I think an eye-opening experience for some of our folks that maybe have never been before to got to come and enjoy that. So we offered tickets this year to employees, and they took great advantage of that. So all the way around, it was just the brand of basketball was really good, but all the way around, it was just an enjoyable 3 days.
I know we had both coaches on the first two segments of the show today, and the impact that it has on their school and their team, and in the case of Dale, on the community, is everlasting. It's a lifetime of memories that those kids will have forever and ever.
Gil, about 3 years ago, we saw a community impacted by the name of Duke, Oklahoma, and what the power of our tournament and our event was able to do for their community. We saw that again this year with Dale. Probably to a certain extent with Lincoln Christian and their community. Just really, it's an exciting time. Communities rally around the kids, and it goes back to the one experience that we've always said we want to do, and that's to provide these kids a lifetime of memories, and I think we've been able to do that. It's just been unbelievable that these kids enjoy that so much, and this year it added to the aura of the tournament by having the team stay at the DoubleTree downtown, a couple of blocks from the BOK Center, so they could walk together as groups and go back and watch games. Mm-hmm. They could walk around downtown and see some of the things that we have to offer here in Tulsa. So it was just outstanding all the way around.
And our newest presenting sponsor this year.
Having Quick Trip come on board obviously has been a game changer, and be able to recruit them to be able to do the things they did, it was really good. Again, we had some other sponsors, whether it's TTCU, the Cherokee Nation, all step up in big ways and continue to help lift us up and let us provide a great quality experience for our community, for the district, and again, for the teams that participate.
I know that Coach Stewart from Lincoln Christian made this statement that he said, I played Division I women's basketball. I've been in those big venues. He said, when our kids come into that venue and the overall attitude of the hosts of the tournament and the way we're treated, said it's exactly the same as a Division I basketball experience.
No question. I think, again, that goes back to the BOK Center staff, the management group, everyone that's involved, because, again, when you're used to hosting celebrities and people that come and perform in that venue and in that environment, they're pros. They know what they're doing, and the great thing about it is they don't treat those kids any different.
Right.
They're the star of the show for 3 days, and the BOK Center staff makes sure that those kids, again, are treated with a lot of respect and just really made to feel that they're a part of a great event.
They're very, very professional. I think it's such a benefit for Tulsa to have that facility, not only just for the Tournament of Champions, but for everything they do down there. It's amazing.
Gil, to go back and think about our partnership that we brokered with those guys over 10 years ago, at the time when it was Jeff Nickler and really Evan is the last of that group. He's been able to hang on to that and to grow that partnership that we've had with them has been unbelievable. They trust us and we trust them, and they know that we're in it for the right thing, and likewise. So again, it's taken a lot of time to put that together, but those guys and gals are great to us, and we want to continue that down the road. In fact, we've already talked about next year's Tournament of Champions and what that's going to look like. So it's on the horizon, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to grow and make it better.
Well, we got this is crunch time for basketball now. The next 8 weeks kind of puts it in the bank, and if you can get there, you can get there. If not, you're not. We're looking pretty good right now.
Right, we really are. Just when sometimes you think that maybe we won't be to the level that we've always maintained, and our guys rise it to a little bit different level. But our coaches do such a good job. And right now, obviously, in girls basketball, Rogers and Booker T again making pushes here at the end. Booker T girls just won the Bartlesville tournament and had a really good showing. And the Rogers girls, again, are ranked in the top 5 in 5A girls. And then you flip it around to 5A boys, and we've got 3 teams in the top 7, and it's Memorial, Hale, and Edison, and then obviously in the top 5 and 6A with Booker T Washington boys. So again, our coaches do such a good job. Our kids know that there's such a tradition with basketball in Tulsa Public Schools. So again, hopefully we're going to have several teams that will make it to Norman this year in Oklahoma City and be a part of something special.
Well, I'm glad. I'm really glad for Memorial and Hale and our Edison, because of they've been down just a little bit. Now they're back and they're a part of that. And I'm anxious to see Hale play because I think they're pretty good.
They're pretty good, and the great thing about them is they're all sophomores and juniors. I think they have a couple of seniors that are pretty good players, but they're going to return a majority of their team. And obviously, people have been calling my phone wanting to know if they're going to be part of the tournament champions for 2023. So those conversations are underway. Not to let the cat out of the bag too quick,
Excellent.
but that talk is definitely happening.
Well, good. Well, thanks for being here today. I know you've got to run, and we do too. And when we'll come back, we'll have our closing.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field, and that it's the littlest things that will make all the difference in the long run.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with, not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
We hope you enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about the 57th Annual Tournament of Champions, and we hope that you had the chance to watch the tournament this year. It was really an outstanding display of high school basketball. Congratulations to Lincoln Christian girls and the Dale boys for their championship teams. We also want to thank the coaches from each of the championship teams, Melanie Stewart from Lincoln Christian and Jeff Edmonson from Dale Public Schools, for taking their time to visit with us today. Also, we want to thank you, our special guest from the Bike Club, Mike Wozniak and Lance Miller, for all that they do with the Bike Club in the Tulsa Public Schools. We also will be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Inside Tulsa Athletics.